Hey guys, it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, welcome. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's get on with these Christmas in July DIYs. I have very simple DIYs for you using mostly Dollar Tree items. This first DIY will be a very cute Christmas scenes type of photo frame that I think you will love. Just to decorate with, you can use it to add family photos, especially if you do Christmas photos like Santa Claus photos with your kids. This would be a perfect picture frame for it. So moving right along, we are taking one of these wood slices. Now this particular pack was a 2-pack, and I got it from a different 99-cent type store, but Dollar Tree has carried this, so I'm sure you'll be able to find this at Dollar Tree. And this little house photo frame is also from there, as well as the little red truck and the trailer. I am going to take Waverly's Snow White chalk paint, just painting the wood slice in the center part, leaving a slight border around it, just exposing a little bit of that wood. So essentially, painting this white was just to create the look of snow. So I wanted to give this a snow type background or look. And then you'll probably want to paint a couple coats just to cover it really good. I'm just going to repeat the same steps for the second wood slice just to get that part out of the way, but I will be bouncing back to the first picture frame. And once the paint was dry, I did take some black gel stain and just painted the picture frame and wiped off the excess, just leaving a nice black tint with the wood grain still showing underneath. Now, if you wanted to paint this in a different color, or paint it in more traditional red and greens, you can definitely do that. But I decided to just do it this way and keep it more on the neutral side. It will have some pops of color with that red truck and the trailer, so I'm not worried about that. But before we move on, I am taking these stickers, farmhouse stickers, and using the one that says Hope on it. It's a perfectly round shape that fits nicely into that little rooftop, or on the top part at least. And here I'm arranging all my pieces before I glue them down, and before I do so, you'll want to snap off that back easel that holds the picture frame upright. And then I was just trying to get the best angle for this, and I found that doing it at a sort of angle was the best way to glue the pieces down, just allowing the truck and the trailer to sort of fit in that corner, and looks more natural that way. And I'm really loving this idea that I came up with. I think it's super cute and a good opportunity to utilize those wood slices and those little ornaments or the little accessories that are meant to be part of like a Christmas village. I wanted to add some faux snow to the houses as well as to the surrounding area, so I opted to use some puffy paint. Now, if you wanted, you can use just some white chalk paint. You can even use white caulking, or you can even use some glue or Mod Podge and just sprinkle on some iridescent glitter, or sprinkle on some of the iridescent snow that Dollar Tree carries. Walmart carries them as well. You can use virtually anything that you'd like to create the look of faux snow. It's really up to you. But I find that using this puffy paint is super easy. It has a very fine tip nozzle, which makes it easy to outline different areas. And also it's fun to use. You can just squeeze this over any part of this frame or the truck or anything that you want it to have that look of snow. So as you can see on the top, the rooftops, I did create sort of like a drippy effect, but I didn't really like how that was looking, so I eventually decided to just remove it, and I just scraped it off using my Cricut tool, and then just painting over those areas with that same gel stain. So we're moving back to the second picture frame, and I'm repeating the same steps. So I've already painted the wood slice in that white chalk paint. Now I'm going to stain the house in that same black gel stain. So repeat the same steps as you did for the first. The only difference will be the accessories that I use. Again, I'm using little accessories that come in a pack by the Cobblestone brand, Cobblestone Christmas, I believe. And it's part of the Christmas Village series or accessories that Dollar Tree carries. It's meant to be a part of creating like sceneries for your Christmas village, but I thought since they were so miniature, this was the perfect opportunity to utilize them. Honestly, I didn't really know what else to use them for. I had other ideas like possibly using them in a snow globe, but then I came up with this idea, just creating these little Christmas scene type picture frames. And again, I am really happy with the idea, and I hope you guys like what I'm coming up with here. I think it's super versatile, and you can give this as a gift or use it as part of your decor. I mean, just customize it however you'd like. I just think that these are super simple and so adorable. So here I took like this pack that had a Christmas tree as well as a snowman. They did have like Santa Claus, and they have like other things like mailbox and things like that, but I thought this was super fun and I decided to go with this one. So repeat the same steps and add your puffy paint to create the faux snow. I did add it all around the tree as well as the snowman. And then just make sure that you're doing it all over the wood, just from the front and back, just to create like even and making everything look symmetrical. So here are the finished looks of these picture frames. I think they are so adorable. I love them. I didn't put any pictures in them, but you can put pictures of your babies, kids, any family members, Santa Claus photos with your kids. You can even just type up or stamp some words on a piece of paper and just insert them, and that would be a super fun idea as well. So let's move on to the second DIY, and I'm just creating some cute rustic style, farmhouse style star ornaments. So here, as you can see, it is a shiny galvanized metal finish with a wood on top of it. And I decided to use some stamps, the gel stain, as well as that gold foil that you saw me show in the beginning. First things first, you'll want to stain your stars. I'm creating 2 of these stars. So you'll see in the next set or the next round, I'm going to essentially be creating or taking the same steps as I did for this first one. There was just minor things that I changed out, but you will see that in a little bit. So again, this gel stain is super easy to work with. You just brush it on or use a wet wipe or napkin, and then just wipe it off, and then it just creates that nice wood tint, and still allowing some of the wood grain to show through, which I really love the look of. So as I mentioned, here is a second star. I'm doing the same thing to it, and I like to just do, if I'm gonna do 2 or a set of something, it's more efficient if you just like do the painting part of it like at the same time. It just makes things go a lot faster. Now, next thing I'm doing is just using some Mod Podge. Now, if you have a specific glue that's intended to be used with the gold foil, then certainly use that, but I do not have that. I'm using Mod Podge, which works just fine, and I'm going to use a paintbrush just to add the Mod Podge to the areas that I wanted the gold foil to stick to. So when using the glue, I think it's a good idea to just allow the glue to dry just a bit if you can, allowing it to be just a little tacky, because that is what the directions on the gold foil sheet says to do. When you don't wait and you just start adding the gold foil, what happens is that the foil just wants to rub right off because the glue is just too wet. So here I'm just speeding it right along and just adding the glue and adding the gold foil, and I'm essentially just rubbing the gold foil against the glue and then using my fingers to tap it into place and remove any loose foil. I tried to use a brush, but that wasn't very successful. It just sort of brushed the foil right off of it instead of it sticking to the surface. Perhaps the brush I was using was a little too stiff. I think with gold foil you're supposed to use more of a fluffy, soft brush, which I do not have. So I was just trying to use whatever I had available to me. But essentially just using your fingers works out just as well. So that is how it looks after the gold foil was added, and I think it already makes a big difference. So next up, I'm using these pine stems, and these are the thinner. It's the Canadian pine, and Dollar Tree as well as Hobby Lobby carries them. I'm just going to outline the stars and just add some hot glue here and there just to make sure that it stays down into place. Now again, adding this pine just takes it up a notch and makes it a little bit more festive and more Christmassy in my opinion, and not so much like 4th of July. So do what you want with your stars, but I think adding the pine definitely gives it that Christmas vibe. And then repeat the same steps for your second star. So one of the stems was not long enough to go around one full way, so you would have to end up using a second stem and just cut it down to size. Super easy. Next up, I decided to paint on some words. I went with the words Silent Night, Holy Night. I thought that was appropriate and perfect because it was a set of 2 words and I have a set of 2 stars. So I used some Stays On ink and then just stamped that right over my stars. Now if you had white ink, that probably would have been a better choice just so it would be more visible. You can even try using paint, but I find that using paint with stamps is a little bit on the messier side and you have a greater chance of smearing or getting your letters to sort of be smudgy. So I personally do not like using paint. I prefer to using an ink pad if I'm using stamps, but to each his own. So anyways, it's looking good so far, but I decided to add an extra added element. I took these berry garlands that I have on hand. These are the red ones, and then add that over the pines and adding a little bit of a pop of red and an added element of texture as well. So again, just layer this according to your preference, and I think that would add more interest to your piece. You can even use let's say bells if you wanted to go with bells, snow, anything that you'd like. Craft stores sell a lot of little mini types of decor pieces that you can easily add to smaller projects, but I think this berry garland does the job for me and it looks super cute already. And then just repeat those steps to the second star. Now, how fun and festive are these looking? I am loving how this is looking so far, and these would make super cute gift ideas. You can give it as a set to someone, especially someone who, let's say, just moved into a new home and it's their first Christmas in their new home and they're in need of some ornaments. This would be a perfect idea. And I don't know, they just really have a cute rustic farmhouse feel to me. They're adorable in my opinion. Now if you wanted to go with a lighter background, you can paint this white and then use the black stamp, the black ink pad, and that would work out just as well. You can even use a cutting machine, like a Cricut vinyl cutting machine if you don't have stamps, but do whatever you like to yours. add your words in whatever way you want. You can even handwrite it if you have nice handwriting. So next up, I am adding a ribbon hanger, and I decided to use some red and white twine that came from Walmart, and this is more on the thicker side, sort of like a layered twine, more chunky. And I just created some simple hangers, making a double knot, and then adding a cute jute twine bow to the front of each, and I love how this looks. Let me know what you think, and if you like this idea, leave me a comment down below. What did you guys think of both of the DIYs that I showed you today? I hope you liked them. Give me a thumbs up if you did, and I'll see you in my next one.